Hello, I'm Michael Hingston, a writer and publisher in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and this is my daughter Bridget.
Hi, I'm Bridget. This is my dad, Mike.
And this is
Mike and Bridget Write.
Today, we are going to be talking about National Novel Writing Month, or as it's known for short,
NaNoWriMo.
We're going to talk a little bit about what NaNoWriMo is, how it works, and then we're going to get a little more specific because Bridget is actually participating in NaNoWriMo this year. Bridget, I know very little about this, so this is going to be basically me asking you a bunch of questions and you enlightening me as much as anyone else. So to start with, what is NaNoWriMo?
NaNoWriMo, or National Novel Writing Month, is a challenge done every November, and also I think March and July is like Camp NaNoWriMo, but the main thing is November. Writers all over the place try and write 50,000 words in 1 month. There's also a young writers version, which is what I'm going to be doing this year, where you can set a different word count goal. They kind of give you an idea based on your age and your grade, and then it's just a bit more targeted for young people, which is really cool.
Why do you think it appeals to so many writers? What appeals to you about it as a writer?
There's a lot of community around it, especially on the website. Like, there's lots of forums. It's very supportive. People check in with each other about it. It's really motivational. It gets you to finally write your project. If you've been looking at it for a long time and never really making that much progress on it, it really makes you get going. So I think that's why a lot of people choose to do it.
How does it work?
The challenge starts on November 1st, and they talk about Preptober, like we're in right now. Like, October is when you prep, when you decide what you're going to write and your goal and your time frame and how it's going to work and what your kind of strategy is. And then on November 1st, you start writing. People usually find an average daily word count goal that they should meet so that they meet their end goal. People try and write every day. You kind of have to write every day. It's such an extreme challenge. And then you will check in, I think on every 10 days, people will usually check in with people and see how far are you, and then at the end of the month you look at what you've done. It's really supposed to be fast drafting. You're not supposed to look back, you're not supposed to do any of that, you're just supposed to draft. It's very much about first draft, not about revising. It's just about words.
It sounds a little bit intimidating, this idea of writing an entire novel in a month, but it sounds like from what you're describing, there are ways to sort of take the pressure off yourself. We're in Preptober right now. What happens during Preptober?
Preptober is when people plan. So obviously, most people go into this having some idea what they're going to be working on, but they come up with that. They develop their world, their characters, their outline. Some people aren't really that much plotters. They're more pantsers, so I'm not really sure what they do in Preptober, to be honest, because I'm definitely a plotter. But yeah, they outline, they decide what they're going to write each day, they decide their support systems. A lot of people have a critique partner or a writing, I guess not so much critiques, but a writing buddy who they're going to check in with, and especially if you're both doing it, that's really good, because then you can make sure, did you write today? Yeah, okay. Did you write? Okay, that's good. They set up those things in advance so that they're really ready, because for such a challenge like that, you really need to know, you need to have a plan ahead of time, because you can't waste any time in November. You only have 30 days.
What does the community aspect look like? Is it just finding people to read your work, or how does the community sort of tie into it?
Yeah, some of it is chapter exchanges. There's lots of different forums. I can't speak so much for the the classic website version of it, because I'm doing the young writer one, but at least in the young writer one, there's a lot of forums. Yeah, some of it is chapter exchange. Some of it is character cafe, I think they call it. So if you need there's a character orphanage, if you need a character, take one.
And hold on, wait,
there's a lot of stuff.
What is a character orphanage?
So if someone made a character but then they cut them from their novel, then they put them up for adoption, and then if someone needs a new character, they can take your already formulated.
Oh, wow.
You describe your character and you're this is what they are. If you need them, take them.
Free to a good home,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Same thing with worlds, locations, names,
so
a lot of orphanages.
So it's quite collaborative, in a sense.
Sure.
If you have a character name or you're looking for a character name, you can sort of ask the community.
Yeah, character cafe, and then within that, there's character orphanage. There's specific character names, I think it's called, where I've used that one before. I've given people names, and sometimes they post a picture of their character, and what should their name be? And that's really fun on both ends because you can get really good ideas and then people will respond and say, yeah, thank you, I like that, I'm going to take it. So
Right.
it's really well done. Like there's lots of, what's it called? Like moderators that go through and delete stuff that's inappropriate and delete users even.
There's an official NaNoWriMo site.
That's right. And if you look on the official one, the Young Writers one is hard to find, but if you look under the official, I think it will link the young one, which is a lot smaller but still really big.
And we'll link to both of these in the description below.
Yeah, for sure.
From where I'm sitting, it seems like it ties into larger ideas of writing constraints. So sometimes if you give people a wide open idea, it's kind of hard to get started, or people talk about sort of the tyranny of the blank page. Like when you can do anything at all, it's hard to make that first step because you feel like you have all this total freedom, whereas a restraint, in this case of time, sort of forces you to just get out of your own head and just start doing it.
I think it's moved very much from write a novel in 30 days to write 50,000 words in 30 days because it's not the same. Like write a novel sounds really scary and that's kind of hard to define, but 50,000 words is very concrete. That seems more attainable.
Bridget's participating in this year's NaNoWriMo, but she actually has done it once before. Can you tell me and the people about your experience previously with NaNoWriMo?
Yes. So when I was in grade 4, I actually don't know like where I heard about this. I didn't watch AuthorTube. I don't know. I just heard about it somehow. I didn't realize there was a website. I just heard that there's this write a novel in a month and I was like, oh, I should do that. I wrote a story called Silverina and I glued in a calendar of November.
And how did it go? What happened in that first effort?
Well, I did plan it very well. I made myself a very good plan. I may write the prologue and then day of rest and then write chapter 1. I mean, I wasn't thinking in words because I was writing by hand. And I left myself 3 days of revision at the end. I mean, I didn't really understand revision very much, but it was a nice sentiment. And then I very quickly got behind. I did complete it in the end. I stayed up very late on the last day. I finished the book and then said, okay, I'm done, and never looked back on it. So
what did you learn from that experience that you're gonna take forward into this year's challenge?
You can get behind very fast. I mean, this book was probably 4,000 words long. So, and of course I didn't know that. I needed to write every day because I kind of had write chapter 1 one day, finish chapter 1, or start finish. So if you do something else on that day, then well, now I have to write a whole chapter in one day just to catch up. You know what I mean? You get really quickly quite behind if you don't stick to your stuff.
So this year, Bridget is going to do NaNoWriMo again. We are currently in sort of approaching the end of Preptober, and she's going to be ready to go November 1st. So why don't you tell us the elevator pitch? What's your story that you're working on in a nutshell?
So I have already written my kind of first, I guess, proper novel called Patch Wars, which is in the beta reader process right now. And I have been thinking about I thought about writing a sequel to it for a while. I couldn't, I never got very far planning that. This was a really long time ago. And then I decided to write a prequel to it, which isn't very common, but it really intrigued me, about a character who's an old woman in Patch Wars and then her life when she was a lot younger. That will be the prequel. Actually, lots of resources for plotting things on National Novel Writing Month, the website itself, and it recommends Jessica Brody / Rick Blake Snyder's beat sheet, which is definitely my favorite outlining thing.
What are you allowed to do during Preptober, and what have you done so far?
What you're allowed to do, I suppose, on the website, because I don't, this doesn't seem very practical to me, but some people actually write their book on the website. There's kind of a writing space. I write in Google Docs, so I'm just going to update the word count manually. So it doesn't let you start writing yet until November 1st. Oh,
the website's sort of locked until then.
Well, yeah, you can, it says add chapter, and then it's this is just a note. No cheating. Well, it doesn't say that, but actually I've written a few thousand words ahead of time just to practice. Can I write this amount in one day? Is it realistic writing at school? Because it's very loud. And yeah, just kind of starting with it. So I think I've written about 5,000 words. So that will be a good little kind of safety net. And
then let's talk about the process. So there's 30 days in November, and you are a junior high student, you have other things on the go. What's your word count and how are you going to do it every day?
So my word count is 24,000 words, and that equals 800 words a day. So my kind of strategy is at school we have, I mean, it's all very different with COVID, with options. I'm in grade 8. And so we have one option that's like sort of designed, but then the other option, some people are doing debate. And anyway, I'm doing kind of a personal project. So I'm working on my writing in that time.
That's a useful tip. If you can turn it into schoolwork, that
yeah,
makes
if
it
you
easier.
can convince someone it's educational, then they'll let you do it at school. I don't have that option every day. This is the struggle. So the 2 days I don't have it, I'm going to have to do it at lunch. I'm going to try and write 400 words at school and then 400 words after school at home.
And you've been using Preptober to sort of try that out to make sure that's
I tried it a few times at school. The second time I actually managed 5,500 words. So that might be easier because I feel like when I get home I'm pretty tired, so it's probably going to work better to write more at school and then just a bit at home.
If you get ahead, because you have like a really good writing day at school, would you take it easy the next day, or would you recommend like not banking words ahead of time, but just starting fresh and hitting your word count every day no matter what?
If you can write, I think you should. If you know that the next day you can't write, then write double the day before. That's a great plan. But I wouldn't write ahead and then the next day, even if you could write, not. That's just a waste. That doesn't make sense to me. What I've learned and what I agree with is that you shouldn't look back. You shouldn't be editing unless it's going to add a significant amount of words because, again, this is fast drafting. It's not about making it good. It's just drafting. So it's about words. You don't need to be looking back and changing little things. That's just wasting your time. Stay connected, check in with people, find a buddy. It's really easy to find a buddy online. I think there's a whole forum for that.
We're going to make another video halfway through the month, sort of checking in with Bridget, seeing how she's doing, if she's hitting her word counts. And we'll probably make another video at the end of the month, sort of checking back in with it. So if you're out there doing the same thing, let us know how it's going, how you're doing. And then as a final sort of motivator, Bridget has actually gone above and beyond and made an extra sort of series of small motivators.
So I have made what is called a NaNoWriMo survival kit. This is very popular on AuthorTube, so you can find lots about this. I really wanted mine to be a bit more practical and writing based, so I included in it 3 letters, which I wrote to myself to be opened on day 10, day 15, and day 20. And then I put some little post-it note, like, motivator things at the bottom of that. If you want to write a letter to yourself, I would recommend not reading it too many times, because then when you open it, you're going to already know what's in it, sort of. Like, you want to forget what you wrote, otherwise it's not fun to read it. If you're making this for yourself, don't write something generic that you would tell your friend. Think about what you would want to be told, because you know yourself very well. Then the other thing I did was little challenges. So write 800 words, like that's my goal. Meet that goal on a harder writing day. If I meet that goal, then you open it up and look inside and it says, achieved, enjoy a farro sandwich. And that's going to work very well because I'm very food motivated. Basically all food. And W, farro, chocolate bars, that's about it.
Go with what works, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we will check back in with Bridget as NaNoWriMo gets underway. In the meantime, good luck with your projects if you're trying the same thing out. Any final words, Bridget?
Don't miss days.
Consistency.
Write every day.
That's right. Well, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.